Time to drop.
So they're going to decide to go ahead and open with a Joy.
Yeah.
I believe there's a 80-90% chance this is going into the hands of Agent Zero.
Yeah, might as well. We know that, throughout the regular season up to this point, even watching the other, regions duke it out in their playoffs, that Joy has been a great pick. It's flexible. You don't necessarily know where it's going, so it's a solid choice for that priority pick. And yeah, you can assume it's going to go in the hands of Agent Zero, but the response, 1-1 in the Valentina.
Yeah, and that's why I was scratching my head. Blacklist International really want to give the 1-1 to Kelra.
Left it open.
Blacklist International, I think it needs to pick the Farsa now here. Farsa with the Faramis, but this might be a Faramis mid. All those statistics show that is an Oh My Venus hero into Rome. I'm looking like this might just be a Farsa, but I feel like Omega know that this is going to be coming, and that's one of the reasons why this is how their draft looks for them. It is a Farsa, an Akai. It's available here for picking if they want to get it for Ryzen now. If not an Akai, it might even be a Tank-Salot.
Ryzen has had an interesting Season 11. As a long-time Ryzen fan, I'd say Season 11 is one of the toughest for the young Dean Tumagi. So him getting a good pick here might be very, very instrumental, might be significant. I'm with you. I think put a utility jungler on the young man.
Yeah, might as well.
And there it is. He's hovering it over it already. And this is, again,
there it is.
The bad news for Blacklist not having the Diggy available in any draft, it's because they can ban the Fredrin and then take the Akai. There are 3 heroes we think about that really strongly contest each other in the jungle in terms of utility jungling. Fredrin, Akai, and Tank-Salot. But there is a sleeper pick that some teams tend to forget, and a pick that Wise has already picked up, the Jungle Grok.
Cool. I'm wondering, now that you mention that, the Jungle Grok here, Renmar, remember last, the previous seasons here, we've seen, this is always the playoffs where we see those kind of surprises, and we actually talked about this even before with, the recall that we had here, Leo. Are there going to be the surprise picks? I would say that, in the hands of Wise, it's possible, just like we saw last season where that Guinevere popped up,
And he also made Fredrin a thing.
Yes.
Who'd have thought that for the next, 6 to 9 months, it wouldn't be a pocket pick. It would be the pick in the jungle.
Oh, and with that gone now, we already have a very familiar record of the picks for Wise in the jungle. Question is, with the Bears taken away, will Omega take out the Grok just to cover their bases here?
Or the Baksha?
Or the Baksha also is a terrific pick. The tank Guinevere also for Wise is available. Alice as well, if they just want someone who will be able to sustain a lot of damage and maybe potentially survive long enough to secure objectives. Bans here, I wonder if Blacklist will take out the Franco, maybe the Cho. Just when I said it, they take out the Franco.
Okay, solid choice. We have seen the impact, I would say, of, Franco. And not to mention, that makes me immediately think of, what people are comparing Franco to is the Mincetar pick.
Yes.
And we saw that even in the end of the regular season where, there it is, right? It is going to be banned out. So, because again, a lot of people are thinking, is Mincetar like a better Franco? Is it the fact that he can actually pull multiple people with the Spear of Glory and
deny dashes
and deny dashes like that?
The one thing that the Mincetar has that Franco don't,
what do you got?
Is the potential to play in the jungle.
Boom.
I think that's what Coach Etomax and Coach Why Not are playing on.
Oh yeah, could have been a potential there. And Blacklist International, they take out the Kufra. Could have been a strong pick for Omega, but this still opens up the field for a potential Cho pickup. For Miko, it is a comfort for him. And yeah, if we're talking about a Miko comfort, it seems like that is the pick he might be going for. They can pick the Roman, then just potentially wait. No. What if they actually flex this Akai into the Roman and pick up a Hayabusa jungle?
I was gonna say, it's still possible. There's an explainer here, so it's still a toss-up between the roamer and the jungler.
This Hayabusa jungle shift for Omega looks really good here. And it would be very surprising because you're going into this thinking that this is an Akai going to the jungle. Oh, Blacklist International. Their jungle pick, maybe this is a jungle joy, we don't know. Most of the time it goes into the hands of Edward, and what will their gold laner be? There's a Lancelot, it's a Tank-Salot for Wise,
wow.
a Claude for
You
Al.
can hear the crowd.
Oh, the King's got new garb. The King is rocking. An assassin in the jungle, albeit built like a tank.
Yep. We're going to be seeing Wise with the Lancelot. I don't even recall if I've seen that during my time casting for Mpl Philippines. But this is the time, Omega. Pick the Hayabusa now.
Bring
Get
it.
that duel out. Maybe even a Link, but a Hayabusa would be beautiful against a Farsa.
Anime fight.
Anime fight. Give us the
That's what
anime
they're
fight.
cheering for.
Give us the anime fight we want to. Those are the options. If it's not that, it's going to be a jungle Akai and then a tank Cho. But come on, just give us the
Game one. Come on.
Game one.
Come
it's
on.
the playoffs.
This feels like a fever dream. Like
Right?
seeing Lancelot on Wise,
Yeah.
but it's a treat.
Oh, we're gonna find out here. All right.
Binds us together.
It's an Angela.
What?
Baby pick. We saw this
What?
in
Let's go.
was it MPL MY that pulled Angela out? I can't 100% remember, but I know Angela was played in a previous region.
You know where else an Angela was played?
Where?
By Omega to much success. Down the hall.
Down the hall.
About a year ago, in the hands of Chaknu, the Angela was doing business.
Yeah.
They're running it back. They're running it back. The greatest hits with some new songs here. My goodness.
We are divided on the table, by the way.
Yeah, we
2-1, fam.
That's not divided. You are outnumbered.
Sorry, I feel like I'm divided here.
Check yourself, Resurrect. Self. That's our smart power predictions, folks. Y'all can do the same at home. Tell us exactly who you think is going to win. At some point in the game, a poll will show up. You only have until the timer runs out. Your prediction with the hashtag SmartPowersMPLS11. Get to it, fam, because there's some goodies at stake. One lucky commenter who guesses right will win a redeemable in-game code. Remember, keep an eye out for the poll. Gentlemen, one more look at the lineups before we go into the Land of Dawn. This is electric. I'm loving the draft.
It's incredibly exciting here. Imagine if for the first time in a long time, as we enter the first game of our Mpl Philippines Season 11 playoffs, Wise will pop off here. What if you see that? It adds to his growing legacy.
Wow, Miko's in trouble! Edward already securing the first blood here. Not sure if he was expecting that at all.
In too deep. I'm guessing if Miko was rocking to pull yourself together, maybe, but the Avarice. I wonder though, did he make enough gold? Did he make the right amount of gold to make that worth it?
Not worth it at all. He burned the flicker out of that, and now Miko will have to play back a little bit, be a little bit more cautious, and be not so aggressive in terms of getting the vision. This is one of the tendencies of Miko. He tends to overcommit and stretch himself and his limits just to get vision.
Okay, oh my Venus already pressing the situation once again. Miko gonna be in trouble. The second time he falls here. The Queen's gonna be split off though. Ryzen and Kelra should be able to get a kill off of this. Couple hits away, still gonna go in. Kelra grabs the kill, so it's a trade.
Trade there, roamer for roamer. And I think my Venus committed that pull onto Kelra, thinking that Owl and or Wise, or maybe even together, might be able to take him down, but Kelra gets away. A favorable trade, slightly leaning towards Omega, because now there's a kill on the board here for the gold laner.
Yep, it's a small requiem for the early blunder that Omega conceded. Now, we're thinking, what exactly is going to be the image for this first turtle? Another pull by V!
Oh, they're still gonna be going, okay. Not able to get that stun they were looking for, so still, Turtle is up here. Still, I would say, could be anyone's turtle for this one. That's why they're going to go ahead, take dominance of the area. Edward going to jump in, going to force them back with the ultimate there, secured by Ryzen. And it looks like Blacklist International just wants to call the retreat. They gave up the objective, couldn't get it.
All right, that was on point for Ryzen. He won that first retry duel of the game there, and that'll give Omega a bit of legs to invade the jungle here.
Okay, Feathered Airstrike going to find the target. Stone's the one to fall. Ryzen gets out barely. Still, you got a question here. What is this game plan for Omega? How do they transition? Even though they got that objective, how do they transition from that?
I'm guessing the transition is not going to come in very quickly. When you're playing an Angela roam, the clutch usually comes in when you have these long-term plans. When you're playing in the mid-game and then you catch a Hearthguard that the opponent wasn't expecting. I think that's what Miko was thinking about in that last engagement. But this is not the time. Not here. Not 3 minutes in.
And not just yet, and especially with Farsa, Yue flying around. Great positioning as always, and great sense to land the feathered airstrikes onto the key members of Omega.
Yeah.
So far, we're seeing just the right amount of pressure. Feathered airstrike from Yue. And yeah, it looks like they're tempering their cooldowns.
Oh. Ryzen going to be looking to find that setup he was looking for. Can't get it. So still the back and forth between the two teams, still kind of poking at each other, trying to get the best situation for them. Like you mentioned, you know, Omega especially, that kind of overzealous can bite them in the behind here if they go too forward. That's what Miko has the tendency to do. I see him, he kind of stepping back a little bit to allow them to readjust here.
Yeah, and that's for the vision taking that we're talking about. But Edward in the bot lane will be able to get away from Reggio and Stone. I have to say, I like this pace that Omega are playing at, because if you play too cautiously against Blacklist and just allow Blacklist and both teams to just farm up, they will outmaneuver you and outplay you in the objective takes. Omega are being brave about this, a little bit too messy sometimes with the decision making, but this is the right call. If they can clean it up, this is good news for Omega.
I think that's one thing that Omega are lacking, that they're used to having, the battlefield mobility. They're playing with an Angela. So when they commit, they have to make sure that it's something that they can re-engage from, or at least win immediately. So it's somewhat of an alpha strike. 70% in, and then you have to think about the 30 that they're way out. Now, it looks like they're going to let go of this turtle, thinking exactly, gentlemen, about 5 minutes in, how do you feel about that Lancelot on Wise?
Oh, still going good. I mean, it's a 1-0-2 start for him. He hasn't won the retro duel against Ryzen just yet, but the story might shift here. It's Keller and Stone. Oh, this looks like a bad spot for Omega.
Okay. Ryzen did secure the turtle there, so, you know, it looked like they also had something in mind bottom lane for them as well. Focus on Kelra, because that's the plan, right? You don't want Kelra to go ahead and just farm up here. Again, he already had that early kill, so you don't want that to build up. We know what happens to Wanwans when they get that lead and they get to a point where it's just kind of, there's no return.
Yeah, especially if it's a 1-1 that could potentially have a heart guard coming in from an Angela. That's the ticking time bomb of Omega. Hence why Blacklist International, they do still have a great damage option for the late game. Actually, 3 great damage options in the Claude, the Farsa, and the Joy. Looking at the items right now, Glowing Wand was the priority there for Edward on his Joy. Corrosion Scythe already built up by Kelra. DHS up for Owl.
So in the item race, it looks like Blacklist are making the most of this 500 gold lead. Feather Airstrike already spent in, looking for an angle.
Hey, Stone when he jump in, did grab the Feathered Airstrike for himself. Still, just going back to it, right? There's the Feathered Airstrike from Stone, but it's the back and forth, right? No team wants to take that risk just yet. Still trying to feel out the situation here. Ryzen does go in looking for UA. Gonna try to poke him down a little bit. Gets the wings by wings, but look at the backside though. They go in, Blazing Duet, and the Ryzen in the perfect position. But now, scoots out of his way out of there. Renzio holding on. He's there for backup. Didn't have to commit.
A smooth operator. That was worth it. As long as it took, it was worth it.
That's the first time I've ever casted an MPL game, a game of Mobile Legends, and I heard smooth jazz with how smooth Ryzen committed that play. I heard trumpet, so it's not just me, thank goodness. That was a smart play by Omega, splitting Blacklist International like that. Here comes the hard guard on the 1-1.
There's the hard guard. Kelra gonna be looking for the crossbow. Can't get it though. So still gonna put pressure here bottom side. The rest of the team, top side, putting pressure on the top lane.
Yeah, great side step there by Oh My Venus to avoid adding one last mark for the 1-1 to activate the crossbow of Tang. But this is first 3 turtles for Omega against, not just yet. Here's Wise contest.
Wise gonna go for it. It's Ryzen though. 3 for 3 on the turtles. Now Wise gonna be a little bit caught in enemy territory, but the rest of the team is here to back him up. Omega happy with the objective takes.
Yeah, Omega 3 turtles, but neck and neck and the items actually in the lead right now is Owl, just built up his golden staff. Wind of Nature was actually the second item prioritized there for Kelra, knowing that he has to be careful with Wise and Owl, and he'd want to survive a little bit longer just so he can get those marks off. And I think this is the sign of him saying, I'm going to be brave. When I have my Angela Heart Guard on me, I will not hold back.
Yep, the young Dwayne Vilas is looking to push the limit. Oh, wow, but still, when it comes to turret races, Blacklist still gets the win here. Top lane goes down first.
Yeah, and that's a testament to Blacklist efforts for holding down the bottom lane for so long, despite Omega really committing into that. And right now, at some point, that will cave. But what will Omega end up losing if they commit to this turret here?
Okay, here they come. Edward knows it's going to go down. Should be able to get out. Just fine, has the covering fire as well. The cutoff play's coming, though. Nice little Terrify play. There's the heavy spin. Colt Ultra has to be expended as well. The flicker on top of it. The Queen's still on the run here. Gonna get chased down. Too slow as Oh My Venus falls in the bottom lane.
And throughout that whole engagement, Renzio was working on that mid-wave. Omega's gonna capitalize.
I was asking what will Omega lose, but Stone said we're not losing anything. His crucial Terrifies on the two members of Blacklist on the way to that fight gave Omega the edge to win that engagement, get the tower in the bottom lane, get the kill onto Oh My Venus, and get progress on that mid lane turret.
So far, Blacklist have kept a small lead, but Omega are making plays that'll make you think, where is the lead coming from? What exactly is going on? What will be the clutch move that Omega pulls in? Because the Angela, yes, it's putting a little bit of extra confidence in the tank for the young Dwayne Pilas for the gold standard, but we haven't really seen them capitalize yet. Where's that early to mid-game lead?
It's a testament of Blacklist International. Great handling of the side lanes, the minions, and the pushes that Omega want to do. Even though Omega are putting so much focus into winning skirmishes and lanes, they're making sure that the other lanes and the other minion waves are being handled well. That's why Omega hasn't found the turnaround yet.
Oh, this is going to be scary, though, too. Now Kelra is here. There's the Heart Guard on top of it. Going to chase them down, force them back. Owl on the run here. Kelra's still going for it. And all the meanwhile, Owl goes back with the he falls to Renzio. Edward comes in. Wise still waiting patiently. Lord going to be worked on here. Wise half health. Trying to heal back up. Stone going to fall, though. Takes too many hits. They're still giving it a go. Lord going to go down. Wise grabs the Lord. And they still put the pressure on Edward. Forcing Kelro back. The flicker comes in. Edward on the heart. He finds him. Miko's burning, but he's still alive. 3 fall for Smart Omega. Make it 4 as they find another with Yue.
Looking for the turning point. Blacklist was about to serve it up. Now they're 2K ahead with the Lord marching up top.
Looking at the instant replay, it looked like it was doomed for Blacklist, but Blacklist turned it around to put themselves in this position, and who is it? It's Agent Zero pushing forward alongside the rest of Blacklist International, alongside Wise on this tank slot, and of course the ever-dependable Yue on that Farsa, getting that kill onto Renjo's Lapu-Lapu.
Yeah, Kelra built Wind of Nature early, but that's not going to do nothing to Edward's joy. They didn't account for that.
Magic damage, man. Crazy amounts of magic damage coming on from that Farsa, Joy especially, and of course a little bit from that Faramis. Let's see if, yes he is, Kelra on the way to building that Athena shield. Potentially would help him a lot to survive the onslaught of damage coming in from Blacklist, as Edward already has the Divine Glaive up. So even though the Athena shield will help, it will still hurt like crazy.
See, this is a scary thing too. Like, Owl here, despite it being 0 and 2, the fact that all he has to do is jump in, the impact with the Blazing Duet to bring people down, and then there's the follow-up with the magic damage like you guys are talking about. So until you have that magic resistance here for Omega, that's kind of what's happening, right? And it's not any favor for them really in these team fights.
And the fact that that's the threat that Blacklist International are presenting with, it looks like they won the gambit. The fact that Omega have a good amount of peel and Blacklist don't seem to be working out for the M3 World Champions. It's like, yeah, we don't need to peel. We'll just present so much damage that you'll be forced to respond.
Exactly, and we also see here the difference in the XP lane picks with Renjo and that Lapu-Lapu against so many mobile targets.
Yeah.
And targets that can actually shield themselves and avoid some damage. The Joy will definitely have a better game here compared to the Lapu-Lapu, and we're seeing that, and that's one of the biggest X factors. It was a key to victory earlier. It was a point of discussion brought up by the panel in OSX and Midnight, and we're seeing it. The Joy having so much more impact compared to the Lapu-Lapu.
Now we're about 30 seconds away from a Luminous Lord. Should be barreling on to turrets here. It's upsetting to think that Omega had a great setup earlier, but just from right underneath their noses, the tank slot comes in. Again, arguably one of the best objective takers in the game.
Yeah, and Wise didn't get those first 3 turtles, but he got the Lord, the big play. Let's see if he can do it again here against Ryzen. Or will Ryzen get revenge for losing that first Lord earlier?
Well, not only that, now the dance unfolding here. And with everything that unfolded earlier, that gave Blacklist International a nice, comfortable 4K lead. Look at that Stome getting chunked down really low, already using the ultimate as well. So now this could just be a green light for Blacklist International. But Ryzen's still around the corner here.
Yeah, right now Miko not showing himself in the map. No, there Blacklist gets the info. Blacklist will continue to commit this Lord, but they're watching out for that mid-lane trio of Stome, Renjo, and Kelra. Getting information there. Lord almost down to 50. Let's see if they're going to go on Ryzen now.
Okay, they're going to push him back a little bit. Owl chipping away the health. Ryzen gets pulled back. He has to heavy spin. One hit away, but they did what they wanted to do. Force the jungler of Omega back and secure the Lord here. Still going to be fighting for it. Renzio there too. There's the hard guard. Wise able to secure the Lord. Omega has to defend.
No dice. The early to mid ramp that Blacklist have set up for themselves is allowing them to just force Omega to respond. Again, that seems to be the story. Omega are playing out of their tempo.
Yeah.
And Blacklist know it. The confidence that they're playing and the principled, fundamental, technical Blacklist that we've known for so long is very evident right now. And Omega, after getting wiped out earlier, close to getting wiped out, they're obviously shaken. They can't find their groove. They can't find their positioning. Stome is having to check shrubs because Miko on an Angela can't in those scenarios.
I believe the term is they got gassed.
They got gassed, exactly. They're gassed right now, and it's only the first game.
Well, they're going to have to defend this one. Edward doing what he does best, causing havoc in backside. Feathered airstrike followed up with the Lord charge. Omega looks very bleak to hold on to this inhibitor turret. Meanwhile, in the mid lane, a pressure there as well. Trying to hold on. Finally, the Lord is going to get taken down here. Renzio in that front line. They lose two. Ryzen there, still trying to hold on to this last one, but two inhibitor turrets down. Blacklist International as critical as ever in this game.
An immaculate sinking of the waves from Blacklist International. About 9K gold ahead, despite being just 3 kills ahead of Omega. This is a huge, monumental lead that Blacklist have. I'm thinking of how Omega can bounce back, man.
Right now, the moment they see Joy, even though they know they have the tools to actually make life hell for Edward, what they lack is that sure catch or even just time to survive long enough so that Edward won't take them down. Every time Edward goes up to the face of the backline and main damage dealers of Smart Omega get rattled.
Oh, Ryzen in trouble once again. Heavy spinning out of the way to survive. And now that's again, this is exactly what Blacklist International wants to do. Poke away, whether it's battle spills, whether it's ultimates, take resources, all prepping up for another Lord. It is a minute away, but they continue to chip away at Omega.
Ooh. And this is what hurts about the lineup of Omega, because they are at such a huge deficit. Miko really cannot check shrubs because he's going to go down. So that puts Ryzen and Stome as the shrub checkers and vision takers, and Wise might get punished.
Wise going to have to escape this one. Does have the backup needed. Yue comes in as well, covering fire with a feathered airstrike. Meanwhile, on the bottom side, Owl pressing the situation. Able to get the last inhibitor turret bottom lane.
I'll just blame Demolition Man. We mentioned earlier how the 0-2-0 Claude KDA line doesn't look very good. Well, if you play it the right way, it shouldn't be a problem, and that seems to be the story here for the young SEA Games gold medalist. Thinking about how Blacklist can finish, it's because so far, I'm guessing what, in the past 4 or 5 minutes, they really have only gotten pickoffs.
Yeah.
It looks like Omega have figured out how to at least not lose team fights anymore.
Yeah, but right now it's because they get picked off just trying to get vision. Will they be even be able to get close enough to this very crucial Lord, because another Lord push coming in from Blacklist as Edward. Look at Edward going after Stome.
Oh, yeah, Edward was going for Stome. Miko was there as well, so he has the backup. He's also just holding on to that hard guard. Renzio, though, wow, just gets taken out in a split second, and now down a member here.
Oh, good check by Al.
Forcing the reset.
Now they get the reset out. Ryzen, though, still a lot of that vision for them now that Renzio's down. Omega, they might not want to fight this and contest this at all.
Yeah, they can't. It's difficult. Getting taken down, just trying to get vision. can't find a tempo. You're minimizing the deaths, but you can't contest. And this is a very crucial target. It's an evolved Lord, but Blacklist is taking their time.
Oh! Owl once again gonna whittle down Ryzen, but this time he can't escape. So this is clearly the sign for Blacklist International to take their next Lord and get ready for the march in to possibly end this game number 1.
Blacklist are playing for the here and now. That's a great play. Free pickoff, free Lord, yes. But it looks like Omega, if I'm reading the situation correctly, might be playing for the long game. I think after this Lord, if they somehow survive this, they might find a way in.
If they somehow survive this, it'll come off of the back of a 3-2 or even 3-1 trade. Maybe even 4, but that's difficult.
It's gonna be tough.
They have to be
again.
lucky. That's how dire it is right now for Omega.
You need a clutch crossbow tank.
Yeah, one big crossbow tank
Yeah.
will shake things
And that's
up.
a malefic roar, so...
Okay.
But it's a testament to Blacklist International and their abilities. They've avoided a massive crossbow of tank the entire game.
Yeah.
It's been 19 minutes that we haven't seen a big crossbow of tank coming out from 1-1 from Kelros 1-1.
We're gonna find out if they can do it here. Feathered airstrike coming down. Ryzen with a heavy spin finds UA here. Can they grab a kill? Hard guard on Kelro.
Oh!
Gonna be looking for it. There he goes. Brenzill's gonna fall here. They finally get it off, but it's not enough. The damage just is not there as member after member fall. And Blacklist International will take game number 1.
The window closed on Smart Omega. They failed to take the early and the mid, and Blacklist capitalized. The defending champions draw first blood.
That is how you make a statement. We are the defending champions. This is playoffs. You are our rivals. We're taking game 1 and we're dominating you. What a win by Blacklist.
I would say that this looked very clean from Blacklist International.
Yes.
Like game number 1, I know it's game number 1 here, but from what we've seen in the regular season, like you can clearly see like the 2 weeks that about 2 weeks that they've had, the refinement is there in this game.
And we have to note, Omega got a little experimental here.
Yeah.
They played with a debut pick hero that, again, is not a debut across the history of Mpl Ph, at least not for this team even, but in the whole metagame. So I'm wondering what the effect of this is on the mental game of Omega. Are they kicking themselves now, saying, yo, maybe we shouldn't have popped the Angela? And it came out last pick. That should have been the power pick. That should have been the closer.
Yeah, and it was because with that Angela pick, you could tell Blacklist International were going into that game already knowing that, yeah, this is everything just for the Kelra basket, for the 1-1 basket.
Yeah.
Putting everything in there. And it was a gambit that didn't work out because, again, they only had the Valentina's main source of major magic damage. Eventually, it was the Valentina Kai, your jungler, checking bushes just to get vision because the Angelo, of course, in that scenario, wouldn't want to get close enough and would just stay back. Even Lapu Lapu of Renjo struggled because he ended up becoming a pseudo-roamer in a sense.
Yep.
I feel like, and I know this is because I suggested it, a Nakai in the roam and then a Hayabusa in the jungle would have been perfect against the lineup that Blacklist drafted.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, it was, you could clearly see, but again, it was game 1, and I'm sure, you know, we'll have more to hear from the analysts later on.
Yep. Midnight's going to be breaking it down for us. Neil, do tell us what exactly went wrong here and what went right for Blacklist International.
Kakaiba ang game number 1 ng International at Smart Omega. Maraming kakaiba nangyari at may mga kakaiba rin namang nagpakita. Ating yan ang i-dissect dito sa ating analyst. Tanong nga pala si Midnight. And upang ihatid sa inyo ang kakaibang analysis naman ay feeling ko kailangan ko humingi ng tulong mula sa kakaibang coach. Kaya naman in-invite ko rito ang coach, ex-coach ng Blacklist International na si Coach Bonchan. Bonchan, halika rito. Yan. Kamusta naman, Bonchan? Kamusta naman yung game?
Okay naman, napakasayang panuorin. Masaya din pala na nasa audience side ako na nanonood, nag-cheer sa isang team. At sa ngayon ako muna yung magiging assistant mo.
Oo. Kasi kanina habang magkausap kami, sa sobrang kilala ni Coach Bonchan, yung kanyang team, ay parang kinakwento niya na sa akin kung ano yung nangyari dun sa game na yun. Actually, ito sa draft, pag-uusapan natin kanina, Bonchan, ito, trivia ko lang sa inyo guys ha. Magkausap kami ni Bonchan kanina. Literal 0.7 seconds before pinik yung Lancelot ni Wise, sabi ni Bonchan, Lance yan. Ano bang masasabi mo bakit nga ba Lancelot yung kukunin ni Wise dito?
nasabi ko naman dati sa mga ibang interview or vlog na talagang nag-a-assassin si Wise. And then sa particular lineup na to, especially sa drop ng Omega na nag-pick sila ng 1-1, pinakamagandang choice talaga na mag-pick ng assassin sa lineup na to against Omega.
So sinasabi si Wise talaga ay nag-a-assassin and kinailangan niyang ilabas yung kanyang tank, yung pagiging tank jungler niya, pero pinagsama niya yung idea kasi 'di ba existing ngayon sa meta si Tankselot na na hindi pa natin nakikitang ginagamit ng Blacklist International, pero in this game it made sense kasi ilang beses natin nakita na kahit palugi sila sa early game nakakakuha siya ng mga lords. Actually ikaw nga nagbanggit kanina 'di ba, parang binigay yung tatlong turtle, okay lang kasi basta atin yung lord.
Tama. 3 out of 3 nakuha ni Ryzen ang turtle. Pero napansin ko habang nagta-turtle take, mas gamang pa din siya sa level. That means ang ganda talaga ng ginagawa niyang jungling pattern.
Yeah. Yung level kasi very important pagdating sa mga turtle and lord. And nabanggit nga ni Coach Bonsin kanina, kahit pa nakuha ni Ryzen yung tatlong turtle ng for Smart Omega, si Wise ay hindi nagpa-behind sa level. Actually, pagdating ng unang lord, ay lamang pa nga siya sa level over Ryzen. Ito yung binabanggit ni Coach Bonsin kanina na farming. Kasi very immaculate talaga dito yung resource control ng side ng Blacklist International. And looking at the lineup, parang Omega nga actually yung pumapabor sa draft pagdating sa early game. Pero ano ba yung mga nakikita nating strengths ng composition ng Blacklist International, Coach Bonchan?
Tama. Kung titingnan natin sa draft, kahit papano, lamang ng konti. Especially sa early itong Omega. Pero pagdating ng first lord, kailangan nila ng communication. Unang Lord attempt ang nag-initiate si Kera at si Angela. At ang ginawa lang ng Blacklist back, pahupain lang natin yung sanib ni Angela and then tara, counter-engage tayo. At yun na yung unang clash na naipanalo nila at nag-turn around ang table na nag-resolve sa 4K gold lead. And then nung pumangalawang Lord na nag-try naman si Ryzen na pumuronta at nung pangatlong Lord, si Rencho naman ang pumuronta. This means kailangan talaga ng communication during the Lord fight kung gusto nilang magsabay-sabay.
Yeah, and nabanggit ni Coach Boy kanina yung tatlong turtle na nakuha ni Ryzen, pero nakakuha pa rin ng Lord ay ang Blacklist International. And the MVP of that game is none other than Edward or Agent Zero for Blacklist International. Kakaiba yung naging performance ni Joy. Actually, pinag-usapan natin kanina yung backline access dahil nga yung awkwardness ng engagements ng Omega ay parang nagkakaroon ng problem nagkakaroon din ng miscommunication on how they engage fights. Si Edward naman yung parang naging counter dun sa nagiging existing na problem ng Omega. Kumbaga parang binubutas niya lalo. Pinalalaki niya yung problema ng Omega.
Tama. Dagdag problema talaga si Edward dahil nami-misposition yung mga heroes ng Omega. Dahil pagdating ng Lord fight, kung sino-sino yung binubuli niya, kung sino-sino yung dinidikitan niya, na nagre-result na follow-up naman ni Yue kung saan napapabak na lang talaga yung Omega.
And kita actually sa heat map, may mga spots kayo makikita dyan. This is from minute 5 to minute 15. May mga spots na parang nandun siya sa base ng kasi inahabol niya yung mga mispositioned heroes dun sa side ng barangay. And makikita natin yun dito sa MVP highlights natin. Again, this was a match na parang ideally, sabi nga ni Boncha, na parang kaya naman lumaban ng Smart Omega kasi they have ways of engaging. Pero ano nga ba yung mga tama at maling desisyon na ginawa ng Smart Omega rito? Bakit nag-crumble sila sa lineup ng Blacklist International?
Yun, unang-una nga ang isa sa mga maling desisyon na nagawa nila ay ang Lord fight na ang ginawa nilang initiator, si Kera na may sanib ni Angela. While kung inantay na lang nila na Blacklist ang mag-i-engage, ang dami nilang counter-engage. Like for example, iguman nila si Akai, sumanib lang si Angela and then sila ang magka-counter-engage. But sa nangyari ngayon, sila lagi ang nagsisimula pero sila din ang napapanish.
Yeah, medyo underutilized nga yung composition ng Smart Omega. Kumbaga parang nandun yung threat ng mga heroes pero nagiging problem is parang ang weird nung starting point na Smart Omega. Kaya actually, binangkit ng mga casters parang hindi masyado nakalipad si Kelda kasi parang ang hirap nga din naman pumili ng mga targets sa side ng Blacklist International. Just by looking at their lineup, medyo mobile din naman. Although may one time na nakita natin si Owl na may misstep na na-commit dun sa kanyang BMI or sa Battle Mirror Image. Pero it was still Blacklist International controlling yung objective battle against Smart Omega. And of course, yung resources kasi nabanggit po kanina, importante rito yung lead. Actually, paulit-ulit binabanggit ni Coach Bonchan nung early game, yung lead na hawak ng Blacklist International. Ba't nga ba importante yun, Coach?
Nung una, hanggang sa 10 minutes, wala talaga nagkaroon ng lead hanggang sa dumating yung turning point, which is ang first Lord na in just a snap, nagkaroon ng 4K gold lead. At doon pa lang naka-breakaway na sa item, although si Aul na hindi ganong payapang nakapag-farm or na-earlyhan siya, sa early part ng game, nakabawi siya bigla, bawing-bawi doon sa turning point sa first guard.
And it's very interesting kasi parang pinag-uusapan natin na si Blacklist at Omega, medyo momentum battle to eh. And si Blacklist International, even though hindi siya nakakuha ng ganong kagandang start, you'd be okay with that kasi this time around, sila yung may hawak ng float. So parang in a way, medyo baliktad yung scenario ngayon. Parang si Blacklist International yung naghihintay ng Omega timers and si Omega naman yung naghahanap ng dapat na lead nung early game. And interesting and kakaiba yung nangyari dito as Blacklist International really did take away from the game of Omega dito sa game number 1. Kakaiba yung naging resulta but at the end of the day, it is a 1-0 win for Blacklist International. And speaking of kakaiba at mga interesting na nagpapakita dito sa ating playoffs, ay meron ding mga interesting guests dito sa ating audience area. Kaya naman kausapin muna natin si Mara Aquino.
Star-studded tayo ngayon sa SMX Convention Center. Kasama natin, former CEO ng Smart Omega.
Hello guys.
Hito and, oh my goodness, Chuck Mamba. Every time tinatouch ko, biglang gumaganon eh. Kamusta na kayo? Kamusta?
Okay lang. First time lang namin ulit mag-meet ni Chuck no sa personal.
First time. Oh, paano yung greeting nyo nung first time kayo nagkita?
Inag ko lang siya, ganyan.
Ganyan? Oh. How much did you miss each other?
Sobra-sobra ako na-miss siya kasi ayun yung kasama ko sa hirap at ginawa sa Omega.
Sa hirap at ginhawa. Ikaw, ganun ba rin masasabi mo? Sobrang miss mo din ba?
Hindi. Uy, di mo pa ako na-miss ah.
Hindi. Ba't hindi ka na na-miss? Wala ka kasing pasalubong eh.
Okay.
Ay,
Hindi, bigyan ko sa chocolate.
binigyan mo ng tsokolate. Okay. Ay, may nakita kami. Actually, si Chuck na yung nag-point out. May bago sa'yo. Pakita mo nga. Pakita mo.
Ayun.
Yung bagong tattoo mo. Ayan. Nakikita ba? Nakikita? Anong ibig sabihin yan?
Ano yung kalapate?
Kalapate. Bakit ka nagpatuto ng kalapate? Anong meaning? Anong meaning?
Para mataas yung lipat ko pagka fly high. Yan.
Ganon. Oh, very nice, very nice. Okay, pero syempre, si Chuck Nu sa Omega bumoboto. Ikaw, narinig kita kanina, ayaw mo ngayon sa Omega. Blacklist ka ngayon.
Oh, bago na yung ano ko, bandwago na ako ngayon, blacklist na.
Bandwagon. Okay, wait, bakit? Dati ka nilang CEO.
Nagkaroon kami ng tampuhan ni Kelra eh.
Anong tampuhan?
Kasi siya yung naging main 5 na gold lane. Kung wala siya, ako yung gold lane sana dun eh.
So dapat ikaw.
Ngayon nawalan ako ng trabaho.
Dahil kay Kelra, may gusto ka ba sabihin kay Kelra?
Kaya galingan mo na lang, good luck sa'yo, bahala
Oh.
ka dyan.
Okay, sabi mo nga kanina mananalo yung blacklist. Pero okay, kung ma-analyze natin yung first game, what's up?
Kuwang-kuha ni Raisin yung inis ko. Naagawan siya ng Lord eh.
Chuck, na ikaw, anong analysis mo? Anong nangyari dun sa first game?
Hindi ko masyado nakita. Puro likod lang nakita ko eh.
Kasi nga oy, bigay niya si Chuck na nag-space sa harap. Okay, so ano ba dapat gawin ng Omega para makabawi sa blacklist?
Parang kailangan na nila ipasok si Coach Pacbet tsaka si Coach Etomax eh.
Okay.
Palarin nila si Coach Pacbet as jungler tapos first pick saver.
So, sure na panalo yun.
Sure yan, sure.
Okay, ano ikaw? Ano sa tingin mo kailangan?
Dapat umuwi si Ito. Nakaito yung malas eh.
Ikaw mo pa ako ah.
Sira ka na.
Agree, malas ka daw?
Kalati lang, kalati.
Kalahati. Okay, ano bang ginagawa ng blacklist na sobrang gusto mo dun sa game 1?
Si Wise, ngayon first time ko siya makita mag super assassin.
That's right. First time niya gawin yun. Okay.
Magaling siya, tsaka si Super Edward, magaling din talaga.
Si Super Edward.
Magaling
Okay.
talaga.
Magsisimula na ang ating laro. So, dapat, ito yung camera natin, ibato na natin sa kasos, pero kayong dalawa yung gumawa. Okay, game.
Casters! Uy!
Ay, ulit.
Ulit. Round 2. Casters!
Pasok.
Uy, parang kalungkot mo ah.
I missed Hito so much. Shaknu, he's around, but Hito it hits diff. And welcome home.
I miss the robe. Remember the robe?
Oh yeah, the
where
robe.
it is. I'm pretty
The
sure.
CEO robe.
I think that has been framed after being washed intensely and framed in the Smart Omega Bootcamp.
That's likely. I believe that's likely. With that being said, let's go ahead and reset. Again, real quick, I have to say, everything that Coach Bonchan and Midnight said, spot on. Let me remind everybody to go ahead and register your Smart and TNT SIM because the deadline, luckily enough, has been extended. All right, so for those of y'all wondering if Is it too late? Is my sim dead? Nah, fam, it's not. It's been extended to July 25th. Register now, since this is the final deadline extension for reals this time around, July 25th. Keep your number and stay connected with Smart, all right? So, just to remind everybody, it's not too late. Your sim is not dead yet. So, register now via smart.ph/simreg. Let's get back into the action here. Game 2. I think it's clear that the teams may have switched up their tempo this time around after the reset. Omega on the play. They ban out the Estes. They ban out the Joy. Thank God they ban out the Joy.
Yeah, they really had to. On the hands of Edward, that was a menace to go up against.
Monster.
Will Omega ban out the Arlot or first pick it for themselves? If I'm Omega here, I'd want to see them first pick the Lancelot. Take it away from the hands of Wise as an option to pick and put it in the hands of Rise, and it is a comfort pick for him. Speaking of comfort picks, Blacklist International, despite them beating the 1-1 earlier, they still really do not want to go have that on the hands of Kelra, and they take away the Fanny from the hands of Rise. And the ban here for Omega, if it's a Paramus, it's a Lapu-Lapu, interestingly enough. So it seems like their focus for the draft might just be Glue, but I'm going to have to read body language here.
Read it.
Based on the little interaction that Itamax coach Pakbet and Miko had, it looks like this wasn't the intended ban here for Omega.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
Oh, that could be dicey again. You know, you're one game behind now, and like we mentioned, you know, that early game was really detrimental to what I feel like Omega wanted to do. But right off the bat, they go ahead and pick up the Fredrin, so they're going to lock that in. That is still a great option, still flexible, but let's say it does go in the jungle, right? Goes in the hands of Ryzen. Great utility there, so you can go ahead and build your lineup around this. I would love to see them actually snag the. I know you said Glue is open, but I would also like to see Renzio get his hands on the Arlot. Because I think, you know, that was a big thing that was missing from the previous game. Like you mentioned, you have that Angela, and if you have to force your jungler to be that sight, to also be that kind of front wall for a lot of the stuff, it doesn't work out the way you want it to.
It's difficult. It's a big struggle when that happens. And now the first picks here, will they pick up the Valentina, Faramis again?
Arlot's still open.
But Arlot's still open, yes. So it's an Eve and Arlot. So it's two picks that were banned earlier, now prioritized by Blacklist. It's a different picture for the drafting here for Blacklist International. Now Omega, are they going to cover their bases here? Franco will still be available if they want to pick it in the early slots. They can actually leave the idea of Fredrin in the XP lane open. However, in terms of map presence, the Arlot will be felt more. The Fredrin will struggle against that Arlot a little bit in the times we've seen the Arlot-Fredrin matchup in the XP lane.
I was gonna say we've seen that like a couple times now.
Yeah.
And yeah, it usually doesn't work out in favor of the Fredrin here.
Yeah, this might end up becoming a Farsa pickup and then their Roamer. Or a Farsa and then their gold laner already on. Show it. Oh, it's a Roamer. It's the Cho and the Beatrix. Already prioritized here. They don't want to go in the second phase with Blacklist taken away. Marksman. Owl can show his marksman here if they want to. They can just play it safe and go for the quad again.
Yep.
But if they want to, I think Blacklist International, especially even with Super Red in the lineup, and Al when he played it, it's looking like Brody seems like more of a comfort pick right now for Blacklist in terms of their marksman.
And with that Cho now in the hands of Omega,
Yeah.
we can revert to the usual suspects as compared to game 1. So, still, Omega playing on the potential reset. Again, we also saw a possible mix-up with the banning. Hopefully it doesn't affect them too much. Now going into the closer for the first phase, looks like the Queen is going to get that Faramis back into her hands.
The Faramis is, I'm surprised, in a way that Faramis especially, all around, I feel like all around the globe is such still high impact. The fact that, the way that the Stampede works plus your Colt Altar, it's so valuable, man. And I'm surprised, that before we even had a time where Faramis was actually banned quite a bit, right? But now it's kind of let through the cracks here, and you got to have an answer to really deal with that.
There it is, an Eve ban, as expected for Blacklist International. could have gone into the hands of Stome, even though Faramis Eve might give Avanti a hard time. You're giving away strong utility there. Speaking of a hard time, Miko's going to have a difficult time again if he's not too careful against the even Faramis with their pulls and their slows. He could get counter punished just trying to get vision against early on. And now the quad ban is the ban for Omega.
So it looks like Omega are double crossing us. The fact that they pick a Cho into the lineup that had potential to pick up the Eve and the Faramis, plus the fact that we don't mind that all these gold laners are out. We'll still take him out. We'll still ban him. I think we've come to the agreement watching game one that Owl can pick whatever they want. Owl can do whatever he wants. I think Omega has an answer, but I wonder why. I wonder why Coach Parbet, Coach Tony, and Coach Etomas are still saying, we want to make Owl pick a certain hero.
Yeah, you have to point that out. That is Coach Why Not. Coach Why Not, Coach Tony, call him either. He's fine with it, right?
Coach Otit.
Coach Otit also,
lot of names,
That
man.
is a Tito backwards.
That's how
I was
long.
gonna say, I get it.
That's how long he's
Yeah,
spent
you
in
get
the
it,
league.
but we gotta make it clear for the other international
Yeah.
viewers. I just want to say there's a brilliant ban by Omega on the Akai. Good ban as well on the glue. Blacklist read the potential of that shift, where not a shift, but the glue could have gotten picked up. But again, you know what? Wise running back can go tanks a lot again. It should be okay. If not that, maybe the Barretts. Yeah. Either the Barretts or the tanks a lot look good.
Okay, well, they lock in the carry here. And if I remember, I think it was actually Owl's debut where he played that carry, and it was like, the headlines of Owl City, right?
Yep.
And so he brings out the comfort pick once again. It's this carry here. And going back to even the previous game, like we mentioned, the score doesn't really paint that picture well for Owl in the previous game because the rest of the team was really just kind of profiting on every single lane, and then Owl's job was like, let me just get a blazing duet off, and then I'm good from there. But now that he's chosen this carry here, he can be a lot more proactive in the way that he plays in these team fights.
And it comes with its pros and cons.
Yes.
He has to step it up. He has to make sure that when he engages, it's not as simple as a BMI out. Let's see what Omega closes up with. They go ahead and get that Farsa, and there you go. They're the ones who, pull a sleight of hand. It's an XP lane Fredrin for just the sake of stealing it away from Wise, and then they give Ryzen that Lancelot.
Very good sleight of hand there. The shift, the turnaround. So it's going to be Renjo right now as what we call the tanque. He's going to be taking a good amount of punishment, a little bit. Going to be a while until we see the Fredrin or feel the Fredrin in terms of the map rotations, but unless Renjo's really prepared for this matchup. Now for the jungler here of Blacklist International, I mean, we did mention the Barracks is an option, or I wanted to say, her name slipped my mind, Guinevere. Because they are up against that Farsa, the mobility that Guinevere brings to the table, and of course, just the setup knockup potential. They wanted to add a little bit more peeling, maybe even a little bit more crowd control provided for their carry. So this is a lineup that will allow Owl to shine.
So this now opens a whole slew of possibilities because you're introducing a new player in the ecosystem. This is the first time we've seen Jungle Guinevere in this metagame.
Yeah.
Second, he picked it once earlier this season.
I would say that
regular season.
Yeah, the regular season.
Yeah.
All right.
But we already, and that's what I'm wondering too, is like, even though we saw this in a previous season playoffs, like, how has it changed?
Yeah, no, it still feels like a once in a blue moon pick.
Yeah.
So it's like seeing it's like seeing a squirrel in the Philippines. We know they exist somewhere,
Yes, they do somewhere.
right? But when was the last time you saw a squirrel in the Philippines, man?
I have a bad knowledge of ecology. I didn't even know there were squirrels in this country.
Exactly.
Huh.
So that's what this Guinevere is. It should do wonders for Blacklist, given that it is a surprise pick. Not like the Angela that didn't work out much for Omega. Let's go to game 2.
So this time, Miko pretty much doing the same thing he did the previous game, but, won't go down first blood under the minute here. So, yeah, he's going to be in a better position, I feel like, on this Cho pick. It's just, again, like you mentioned, Renmar during the draft, he does have his work cut out for him to be able to find, those pickoffs, especially with the way of Dragons later on when he hits that level 4.
Oh my Venus, and you have to watch how they're positioning, and as expected, Kelra and Omega doing everything they can to delay the farm and let Owl struggle, similar to what they somewhat did early on. But Owl's deaths early on came from a lot of engagements, really. Now this is just them poking him down.
Okay. Still, early game, poking back and forth. These are what both these teams like to do. I'm actually curious here too. You know, and from what we've seen with that matchup, the Fredrin and the Arlot, you know, what makes it so that the Arlot is just better, I guess you could say, in terms of that matchup top lane?
It's his ability to clear the minion waves quicker while dealing damage to Renjo. And this isn't Fredrin with a concussive blast. Because of how fast he can clear waves while poking down Renjo, he can roll faster, and that's a flicker burned by Kelra. A little bit too eager there, it looks like.
Yep, that's 2 minutes. 2 minutes that Omega have to be careful. But luckily enough, it's in the gold lane, far from where the big engagement is going to happen here. Renzio helping Ryzen out, get the pull on the first turtle.
Man, when you see that, you know, just you think, oof, because now, yeah, a troubling situation. Still going to be fighting for first turtle of the game. We know how the previous one went, all three over to the Omega, but Ryzen does secure it there. There's the way of the dragon. Miko's going to fall, though. First blood over to Yue. Oh, still going to be looking for more. Feathered airstrike going to come down. Edward flickers himself, survives. No kills, no one falling down just yet in this part of the fight. Oh my Venus, though, could be focused down. Here comes Ryzen, looking for Edward if he can. The final slash gonna come out. Edward, though, gonna fall here. Now Ryzen still on the hunt. Won't be able to get Oh my Venus, though.
All right, long turn, but eventually pays off for Omega. That's a better trade, right? The next laner for Roamer.
Yep, good trade. And they get the turtle as well, so that was a win for Omega in that scenario. And interestingly here, you see Owl actually rotating out of the gold lane more to get farmed through the mid lane. And good read by him to use the Cyclone Eye, feeling that Miko could have been potentially there. So this is Owl being proactive with his farming. He isn't just farming solely out of lane. He's going to the mid lane as much as he can.
I just gotta confirm, gentlemen. I think Wise has double orange on him. He stole Ryzen's.
Yes, he did.
Oh no.
No, bad man there for Ryzen. And the Little Wanderer also went to the hands of Blacklist International. So it's a slight lead right now for the jungler of Blacklist. So no full item for the
Agent Zero paid for that. Agent Zero paid for that with his life to get the Little Wonder and the double orange on Wise. Let's see if eventually it'll pay off. Still looking for that kick. Miko still hasn't got it yet, despite hitting level 4 about a minute earlier.
And right now, Miko's just positioning to look for that kick, and oh my Venus, I think reads it. There's a kick!
Yeah, way the dragon gonna come out, looking for the kill. Can't get the cold altar off in time. Wise, though, gonna get the knockup. Miko takes quite a bit of damage. Couple hits away here, but they know they've got that little win. Omega with a kill. Turtle coming up in just a few seconds here.
And let's see if that was enough to somewhat delay the rotation there, but no. With both junglers in the bottom lane in that sequence, it's actually Wise gonna be getting here first. So that is the orange muffler in the hands of Ryzen. Going on to the purple. Renjo's holding it for Omega. Good call there, bot lane. It's a 3-2 trade by Blacklist. They're sending 3 down to send 2 to the turtle.
All right, so it's turned eventually into a man-to-man defense. 3 down bot, 2 in the turtle. There's a pull.
They're gonna go ahead and fight for it. Ryzen able to secure the turtle there. Meanwhile, on the bottom side, Oh my Venus did fall. Wise gonna be the focus once again here. A couple hits away. Gets the knockup, but doesn't have the sustain as Renzio grabs the kill.
What a turnaround there for the Barangay. They read the 3-2 trade of Blacklist. They often do this where it's just Edward and Wise contesting the second and or third turtle of the game while sending the rest of Blacklist International to the gold lane. But Kelra and Omega survived there, even getting a kill. Omega getting a turtle, and they even got the Force out back with a great feathered airstrike by Stone.
Yep, and they're putting quite a bit of damage on this bottom lane tier 1, and eventually Kelra's gonna get it here. So Omega with a great reset. I gotta gotta say, it's trippy, gentlemen. It's trippy. Watching both a Lancelot and a Fredrin on the same side, pushing for a turtle. That's scary.
And that's why the shift works so well in the draft. First pick that Fredrin, history, stats, everything. Tendencies of Omega have shown that was most likely a jungle Fredrin, but Omega said, you know what, it's a small thing. Our Angelo didn't work out in the first one, but we have our fair share of surprises prepared for the playoffs as well.
Yeah, I like it. And at the same time, with that, 6 minutes in, Omega has a nice little bit of a lead to work with here. So they can take this to their advantage. Bottom side, though, Y's going to miss that. Looking for Kelra. They might have to call this off. Another couple attempts here, bottom side. Miko's still going to be on the hunt. He's looking for that way. The Dragon used to conceal. Edward now joining the fight as well, but no one, again, they can't find anything, so they just back off.
All right, with that failed rotation, the engagement that Blacklist was looking for, I think Omega won. That was a small trade. That was like a phantom trade.
Yeah. It's not so obvious, but it's something, it's like a little thing that might have a big consequence later on.
It's like two Kung Fu masters whiffing and they're like, oh, I see.
Yeah, I see what you did there. That means that's that.
Oh, this one, though, going to be full-on force, except for Edward. He's not going to be here for the fight. Pushing him back to another feathered airstrike comes down, plus Yue's rear world manipulation going to force Renzio to flicker around. Owl, though, taking the turtle there. He's able to secure that. There's the final slash. Stone has to fly away with the wings by wings. Not going to be enough. Wise grabs the kill.
Oh, he was shot down there, but I'm wondering, how did Owl do that? Whoa.
Yeah, that was incredibly shocking. Ryzen got his retry off first. It looked like, was that the dash?
I think it was
just
a dash.
a light wheel just flying?
Was that a stray light wheel?
It was a stray light wheel that somehow got the turtle there for Blacklist International.
That was probably like calculated.
Calculated. But that looked incredibly unlucky for Omega. That was their turtle to have. But gotta give credit where credit's due. If he was gonna use the Phantom Step, that was the right time to do it.
It went from good to great for the agents. They got the pick off on Stone. Rather, the other way around. They got, random turtle, thanks. And then, boom, they barreled down on Stone. So, yeah. Oh, wait, looking for a kick here.
No angle.
All right, no one home. Okay, back to the reset. Blacklist still haven't capitalized on that win, but it's looking better. The map's looking better for Black.
Yeah, in a way, it's just, it whittled down that gold lead a little bit that Omega had. And you can see, right, the damage is starting to be there for Owl. There's a lot of focus here, especially against both those gold laners. Now they're still going to press the situation. Feathered Airstrike going to come down, trying to force out that cold filter as it does. Kelra not going to find the connection there as Renzio falls. Trying to buy time for the rest of the team. Has to pay with it for his life.
Great team play right now we're seeing from the defending champions. And a great call by the Queen to push forward. They saw Rancho was out of position. And even if Omega would have bodies to commit and to respond, it was a sure thing that they walk away with at least a kill. And they got it, plus a turret up top.
Oh, and just a moment ago, the king of the jungle has demanded his tithe. He stole away Ryzen's purple. This is the purplest Lancelot.
Oh, there you go. Miko going to find the way the dragon angle he was looking for earlier. Gets Wise all in time. Now that the Lord is up here. So now the ball is in the court for Omega to play with. They got to hold on if you're Blacklist International for that Lord not to be taken. Wise should be up in about 13 seconds. They're going to force Stone back with the real world manipulation. Miko still waiting patiently. Does not have a dragon. There's the damage coming out from Kelra. Still going to be fighting for this Lord here. Miko trying to zone out the members he can. Still comes down. Miko's going to fall. Who grabs the Lord? It's Ryzen. Kelra flickers in, gets the double.
Filipino savage things. Omega knew that there was a point of no return. They had to capitalize on the fact that Wise wasn't there, and they leaned on that.
That was a great call by Omega. In the past games where you've seen Omega in that same scenario, they hesitated. They didn't hesitate there. Good dodge by Ryzen on the knockup, potentially from the Guinevere. Now Omega will be marching forward with the Lord. Gentlemen, you have to talk about this. With Omega in the lead, and potentially could get a lot of towers here, Omega winning a game against Blacklist in this playoff series means that's their first win over Blacklist the entire season.
Again, history. folks. History, and they are what? Just a few turrets away and a base from making that happen. They're gonna play, starting with a feathered airstrike, just to check it. All right, so far, 3K ahead. Not exactly out of the woods just yet, but Omega should not let go of this lead.
Yeah, they can still get counter punished
Like
hard.
this. This might be it. The flicker comes out. Kelra's in trouble. They find the perfect mark as they fall. Renzio still trying to capitalize on this. Miko there, focusing on Edward. Ryzen from the backside. No targets he might want to commit to here as Omega pulls back. Lord, though, top side. Blacklist International has to deal with it. Ryzen going to be hunting down the Queen. A final slash to put him away. The kick comes out too. They get the Colt altar, and Lord is taken care of cleanly.
But they push that top lane tier too.
Yeah, they got something, but I think Omega know they could have gotten something way more out of that.
That's right. They were going from great to just good.
Yeah, it's good. I mean, all right, guys, it's fine. Let's just make the most out of this. But that was a beautiful call there by Blacklist International. The conceal, they got the target, and again, that's the punishment that you're up against. A Theramis and an Eve get caught in that real-world manipulation, you will get pulled back.
Dare I say that was almost Echo-like.
Yeah.
It looks like Blacklist have picked up a trick from their M4 rivals playbook.
Echo-esque.
Echo-esque.
Echo-esque. Well, as we go back to this, pretty much the reset here, right? I mean, until the next objective comes up, it's 30 seconds away. And at this point, yeah, what we've seen is Miko doing what he has to do on the trail, right? But not every time does he find the angle he's looking for. If he can happen to do that once again, leading into this Lord, or even during that Lord dance, that'd be great for Omega here.
He seems to need a little bit of help from Renzio. He needs the showstopper to set it up, to get the perfect kick. But wait.
Oh, this might be here. Why is gonna fall before the Lord comes up in less than 10 seconds? Omega does it again, finding the pick off. Stone also picking up a big item, the Divine Glaive, as they make their way for the Lord here. But you also saw too, Ryzen took a couple hits from Owl.
Yeah.
So now they gotta work out for this. Renzio in that front line here. Owl just gonna focus on that mid lane. The tier 1's gonna fall here. Flicker goes in. Kelra's damage has to be respected. But meanwhile, Omega easily gonna secure that Lord.
Deja vu. This is the same story from the first Lord.
Yep.
Wow, and that was their version of that clapback. That beautiful play just to get a crucial pick off. Blacklist did it earlier, and Omega for the second time, they found Wise, and that looked like the signal of a team who really studied Wise's movements here, Blacklist movements in terms of how they want to position themselves around Lord fights, leading up to the Lord even, and with that, 4K gold lead. Lord marching up top. Items still neck and neck. Omega have a few edges there. Let's see who can get this.
It's one hell of a gambit Omega's playing with. How often do you play against a team as decorated as Blacklist and you say, you know what, why don't we pressure their most veteran player? How about we pressure Wise?
Yeah, might as well. They found him each time. Couple shots here for Owl. The feathered airstrike gonna come down. Lord will fall here before reaching the turret. They did put some damage on the bottom inhibitor, but so far so good for Blacklist International defending. Not sure if Omega will be able to find the inhibitor turret, but many of these are still half health. Blacklist International holding on.
Great defense. Clean despite the sinking of all three waves and that Lord crashing on through mid. Blacklist still standing team.
Yeah, they read that really well. Miko might get caught out.
There's the feathered airstrike. The final slash was used as well. Owl there to back his team up. Oh! Real world manipulation's gonna come down. Ryzen will fall. Omega was looking for a moment to respond, but Blacklist International punishes them.
All right, a bit too deep there, but also a little detail we have to point out how Oh My Venus played that. He held on to the tether of the Faramis pull for as long as he could, even waiting for the Phantom Execution, just so the Thorn Drows even, just so that once all that is gone, he can pull him back, and they secured the kill with that.
Oh, they're gonna go in again, the flicker, but the Stampede is gonna be counterplayed. Not what Oh My Venus was looking for, so Omega survives that. They've seen that in the playbook before.
Yep, she is her. while we were talking about the Queen and then right before
Yep.
the Stampede attempt, so far, the Queen has been reigned the #1 top assist in the whole league.
That's a whole lot. Final slam. Oh, that's tough. Stone can't fly away from that as he falls here. Again, still about half a minute before that Lord's going to be up. Blacklist International still looking for any advantage they can get before that next Lord take.
Oh, that's tough indeed.
Did Stone walk into that?
Yeah, he did. He was just doing what he's supposed to do, which is just clear the minion waves a little bit.
And then-
Didn't expect that members of Blacklist would just come out of nowhere and surprise him.
Oh,
Caught him with his pants down.
blind spot.
A blind spot, yeah. And have the vision there, and space open up in the bottom lane. Ryzen force of fleeing up there. So Blacklist know the timers that they have. They have time. Now here comes the play by Blacklist.
Okay, Wise going to push Renzio back here. Oh my goodness, 12 flickers out. Can't escape it though. Owl here having a great game on this carry. Now Lord going to go ahead and reset, but they have the numbers advantage they were looking for.
All right, 4v5, wave down bottom,
Oh,
taking
here
care of a
comes
kick.
Nico. He gets the kickoff. Immortality will be popped, but he's going to be punished as well. In the backside, Edward in the zone out stall. Miko still on the run. Oh my goodness, one hit away. The burn is there from Ryzen as the Queen will fall.
10 seconds before Oh My Venus comes back. The Farum is passive in effect, and Blacklist International are rushing this Lord. Ryzen there to contest.
They know he does not have the retribution. This is going to be a hard battle for him. Wise going to zone him out. They find Kelra too. Lord going to be secured here by Blacklist International.
Blacklist slowly clawing back, and with that engagement, they now have the gold lead, and they also have a Luminous Lord.
The go signal for Blacklist wasn't that they got kills, wasn't that they got advantage, it was that they saw Ryzen use the retribution to commit the kill onto Oh My Venus, who had a lot of passive up, got to come back fast anyway, and this is dire straits for the Barangay as the Blacklist agents looking closer and closer to celebrating a Game 2 victory. Can Blacklist end it here?
Keep an eye on Edward. He might press his situation here with the final slash. Wise going to jump in. Inhibitor turn in the top lane. Going to fall here for Omega. Kelra has the damage here. This should be able to defend with only one tower falling, and we're back to it.
Okay, you see here the veteran wiles of Blacks International. I believe the call was, all right, we'll take it slow. We've played against Omega for the better part of the past 3 years. We know we can do this as we slowly claw back. They decided to just say top lane inhibitor, and then we'll move on.
Well, good call there by Blacklist International. Felt like that warning shot from Kelra was a warning shot that Blacklist felt. It's like, ooh, okay, the Matrix is built up. You saw that one sniper hit butt out down to 50. Let's back up a bit.
We took it hard.
Yeah, well, we can build slowly onto this, and here comes a conceal play by Blacklist.
Conceal play going to come in. The Queen going to flick come in. They both
He's in trouble. Renzio trying to flicker out, can't get it.
UA grabbing the kill. He's having a massive game. And now the assault on the inhibitor in the bottom side. Owl unleashing. It's only 3 members of Smart Omega. There's the final slash that comes through with the knockup. Ryzen falls. The full force of the agents into the base. UA will fall, but the crystal is focused on. They're holding on though. No minions are there. And unfortunately, it wasn't enough. Ring the bell as Blacklist International waits for the minions in, gets the music going, takes us to match point.
The Barangay is now up against the wall. Say what you want about them being comfortable here, but it's no secret, folks. One more loss and they are out. The reigning